Hello everybody, it is me, Mr. Vince, and I hope you all have a fantastic day today. It is me again, and yes guys, I am being a little bit serious today, because in this video, I'm going to show you guys a brand new update coming to one of my older Roblox experiences called Last to Leave Circle. Now, a lot of you are kind of curious as to why I am working on this game, and yeah, it has been nearly 5 months since this game was released, and generally I think I should give it a new polish, and it's looking great. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate the new update, and I want to give a huge shout out to Evil Masks for helping me out with some of the older updates. I hope he comes back to work on some better updates as well. But let's just jump right into it. So here I am inside of Last to Leave Circle's newest update. So for those who are unaware, the version is 1.0.5.
Which is releasing this month.
Hopefully. Did you know that Ben the Superdog knocked down a door? What a super dog.
Bruh.
So the thing is, I actually kept the main menu like this because of nostalgic reasons. But over here, we got the credits, which still states,
experience created by Evil Masks and Mr. Vince. This experience is made for Hello, it's Ben the Superdog, and Ven's fans.
Yeah, that is literally true. And surprisingly, the credits stay exactly the same. So I'm going to go through each of these, and yeah, there's a lot to check out. So first off is the how to play section. As you can see, it looks very different from the original because there are two different sections. We got one for public servers and one for private servers. Down here, there's also another note that states, please note that some players may do a certain challenge for their friends / players / fans. Please make sure that it is fair game for everyone and not go chaotic. Yeah, you probably have remembered what happened during one of Vichi's live streams, and honestly, it was just kind of crazy. But anyway, it is based off of what server you are playing on, so if you're playing in a private server, it's basically the same thing as before. If you're playing in a public server, it is brand new. It is now round-based, because public servers are now available as of this update. Because for those who are curious, beforehand you couldn't. So that's cool. Over here we got the rules section, and the rules section has actually been updated as well. As you can see, it states, although Roblox can handle some of these rules by themselves, it is still noted that you should follow the rules stated below to avoid consequences from moderators or developers of Last to Leave Circle. As a challenger, you must try to stay within the circle in order to not get eliminated. Exploiting is against the Roblox TOS. With the new anti-cheat, which is coming out very soon, you should avoid doing it. Only hosts have the ability to use all the host commands, unless challengers are offered some commands. It is best that you stay civil in both regular and voice chat to avoid backlash and arguments. If you play inside a server that is in a round, you will be forced to spectate. Honestly, this menu looks way better than the original, I'm not going to lie. It is well organized and all these rules are aligned correctly, so that's amazing. Settings have changed as well, so if I go over to settings, they are a little bit different as well. So over here we got a couple brand new settings that you have never seen before, but this update didn't add any, so it's basically the same thing as the previous version. But there are so many things to choose from, and most of them work, so that's good. Over here we got the update log, and there's a lot about the update log, and we got a lot of new features and changes, including public server support, so that's amazing over here. Thank you for your patience on this major update. 1.0.5 was not easy to develop, but it would be possible. This update brings in a ton of changes and additions, all solely created by me, unfortunately, but it is still a big update nevertheless. Alongside this update was going to release in late December of 2022, but it was delayed because not everything was complete. So over here, we're going to play the game, and as you can see, everything looks very different. You might notice a couple of differences, and generally the UI is the biggest factor of this update, and yeah, it does look very different from before. So over here, you might notice that the circle as well as the lighting are both a little bit different. The outer circle is now removed because the circle size was a little bit annoying beforehand, but it might return in the future, but for now it's just not in the game anymore. So rest in pizza to it, but I hope you guys understand. So over here we got the lava, and of course it's basically the same thing as before. You can look through the lava and it's actual lava fog, which is pretty cool. So there is something to take into consideration as well, and that is the fact that flying has dramatically improved. So beforehand you could only move in two different directions, this direction and this direction. But now you can move any direction, which is really good. And you are no longer able to clip through things unless if the part is extremely small. But either way, flying has improved so much that it works really well, and honestly this is the best flying system I have created, and it's a bummer that the older flying system has to be removed. But it kind of makes sense. If you're on mobile, you can use the joystick to move around as well, as you can see. And yeah, that's amazing. It works really well, and I think that's the biggest change regarding flying. So over here, we also got ourselves the teleport button. It is also in the host menu, which I will showcase later. But over here, if I select this, I'll be teleported to the brand new spectator area. The reason why I made a new spectator area is because, well, as some of you weren't aware, this update did add in public server support, and so spectators have to be able to spawn inside of a certain area just in case the game ends, and that kind of makes sense, I'm going to be honest. Evo originally was going to add a spectator box, however I decided that it's just best to hide them under the map, and that is the case today, and that has been in the game since then. However, I decided to just add in the spectator area because of public server support. So over here we got ourselves some changes. It is a bit empty right now, but there will be more details to this in the future. But yeah, so over here we also got a couple other commands. We got the spectate command. You can't use it right now, it doesn't work, but it will work eventually. We also got fly speed, and the max is 100. If I go over 100, I cannot set it any further, because if I try to, then I will get an error. So if I go ahead and put 101, I did literally type in 101. But if I go ahead and type in 101, as you can see, it tells me that I cannot set it any larger than 100. The reason is to prevent players from clipping through parts with flying. So that kind of makes sense. For this video, I'm going to do 75 because that's just a pretty solid number. So there we go. Successfully set the fly speed to 75. Obviously, this button is the fly button and it works. This is easier to access on mobile, so you just tap on the button as long as host command shortcuts are turned on, and you should be good to go. Alright, so now it's time to showcase the host menu, and oh my goodness, there is a lot to check out in here. So back in the day, there are not a lot of commands. We only had announce, cut halves, and torpedo in the middle, as well as lock server and collidable players. And that's basically all we got. We also had circle size, and now it looks like this. Yeah, it is a lot larger than what it was, and yeah, it is definitely a lot better, and it's more organized. Although the original version did do a good job with the organization as well, but that's because it was just the first version, so it kind of makes sense. Now, we also got a couple other new commands as well. The first one is set countdown. This is probably the biggest command added to this version, because with this command, you can now officially set a countdown, so you don't have an actual limit as to how many seconds you can set as. So the thing is, you can set the countdown as long as you want. So you can put 1e plus 23 seconds, and it will still keep going, which is really cool. Now the thing is, you cannot go any lower than 1 because it would break. So if I go ahead and put 12 seconds, as you can see, it works. You can stop the countdown by selecting stop countdown or just waiting for the countdown to stop. So over here we also got the circle color, and you can pick your own color now. It is a little bit buggy if you're using a controller, as seen here, but it should be fixed before the update releases, so please stay tuned for that. But anyway, so you can pick your own color. So this is a color that I picked as an example, and it is successfully applied to the main circle. Like I said, outer circle was removed, so you can no longer do anything about the outer circle, unfortunately, but it might be added back in the future. Then we have middle circle. Middle circle is actually another type of piece, and it's this one right here. We also have ground color, and ground color is actually the one that is located beneath the lava. So if I go ahead and go over here, this is the ground, and it's easier to see with some of the new lava themes, but yeah. And then obviously the lava color, and these two are now separate, so they're not the same anymore, and I think that is a very big change. And I have to add it in so players now have the capability to pick their own lava color. So that's pretty cool. Over here, we also got a couple other changes. So instead of being limited to certain colors, you can pick as many as you want. There are so many colors you can pick from. Anyway, over here, we also got lava theme. There are various new types of lava theme. We got water, plasma, mud, ice, snow, honey, rock, grass, reflective glass, salt, and rusty metal. There will be more in the future, but those are the ones we have in the game, so that's pretty cool. For this video, I'm going to do water, because I think water is the best one in my opinion, and it does look like legit water. And yes, the ground has changed, so it does look different. So as you saw earlier in the video, I actually used a lighting type called 1.0.0. So you do have the option to change the vibe lighting type. There are 4 different ones right now. There's also jailbreak, there's space, and there's default. So that's pretty cool. Circle size is pretty self-explanatory. The default is 125. You can set it to a number that is no lower than 4 or greater than 2048. So over here, I'm going to set it to 150. So the circle is now 150 studs by 150 studs. We also have the ability to cut halves and corners. However, in this version, you have to keep in mind that you can only use either one. You cannot use both because of problems. So you can either use corners or halves, but I hope you understand why. Collidable players are also a thing, and they have been in the game for a very long time, so they're not that new. They're pretty self-explanatory. Then we also have lock server, and we also have something called max players. The minimum is 4, but you can set the max players of a server. And I think this is a very beneficial command, and it's best to use it at your own time. So yeah, eventually when we have 700 player servers, it would be absolutely insane. We also have celestial bodies, and for those who don't know celestial bodies, we have the sun, the moon, and the stars. So if you disable celestial bodies, they won't show up. Sun rays will still show up though, but please keep that in mind. We also have clouds. They just disable clouds. That's pretty self-explanatory. Day and night cycle is also a thing. We disabled it because it's very annoying. You can set the time of day to any, as long as it's not greater than 24 or lower than 1. So I can set it to 24 and it would be midnight. If I set it to 1, it would be 1 o'clock in the morning. And if I set it to like 13, it will be 13 o'clock, as you can see here, or 1 o'clock p.m. if you use the 12-hour format. Alongside, we got these vehicles in the middle. They work, but I'm not going to use them in this video. Although this one is probably the most generic, because this one is obviously very popular, and it was the one that was in the game for a very long time, so it's not new to me, but it definitely is the best one and the oldest one, in my honest opinion. And yeah, now if you notice, the torpedo does look a little bit different now, and honestly it looks a lot better than before. I'm just going to be completely honest with that. But yeah, we got a couple new of these commands, and honestly this game is looking great. We also have the player menu, and inside you can select any player and you can search up for a player. The usernames only, please. And You also have the ability to adjust some of these if you want. You can kick players, you can ban players, you can do all that, so that's cool. Alongside, you got the announce command. This command has been in the game for a very long time. So if I type in test and I select announce, as you can see, it says test. Everyone will be alerted, and I think that is a pretty useful command. So over here, we also got a couple other things to show off. So we got weapons. As you can see, we got the Colt 45, and yeah, it's very different from the one before. This one's a little bit different. You don't have the right shoulder camera, and you can shoot anywhere, which is pretty awesome. There is a delay, however, so please keep that in mind. We also got the band hammer, which I never showed off, and this is the grenade. And obviously this weapon is the best one. You can throw it, and if anyone is affected by it except for hosts and spectators, they will oof. So even your own grenade can't hurt you, unless if you're a host or a spectator. But either way, this is a pretty useful item, and can definitely lead to some chaotic chaos. So yeah. And there is the settings menu as usual. You can access the settings menu at any time in the game, so that's awesome. Anyway, that is all I got for this video. If you have enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like. Please feel free to subscribe as well. Honestly, this was a fun video to make, and I really like this update. This is a big update, and I am excited to release the update to you guys. And generally, this is a very good update. Now, you might also notice that there are 3 different things on the top left corner. They say challengers, players, and camera facing. And these are optional, so you do not need to enable them, but you can if you want. They're enabled by default, so new players get the point. But as always, my name is Mr. Vince. I hope you all have an amazing day today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.